All right.
All right.
It's going.
We're
It's
live.
going. We're
After
live.
wasting like 10 minutes recording of prior excess stuff that could have been a whole nother video.
I think it may have been 40 minutes.
Damn. All right. Well, let's start. I'm Pat
Okay.
on Facebook. Most of you know me as Pasquale. I have my channel Driven District, which this first video is going to be on. Part 2 is going to be on Nikon's channel, so be sure to subscribe to both of ours and check that out later. I'm in New Jersey. I have a 2017 Fiat Spider 124 Abarth black 6-speed manual. And go ahead. What do you got?
You have the Recaro seats in that too?
I don't. It's got not Recaros and it doesn't have the Brembos. The make it or break it for me was the visibility package, believe it or not.
Oh,
that
so it
was
has
like
the visibility.
my personal, the visibility is where you get that like the headlight,
the
like a
light
part halo. To me, it like made the front end. That was just my
right.
opinion.
Yeah. I was thinking more of safety. I know I'm that's the most I wish I had that. I was looking into buying those LEDs. What was the other thing I was going to ask you? So what kind of seats do you have on the Abarth? Because you don't have the cloth seats.
It's the leather. Yeah, well, no, the Classica is cloth. The Abarth, believe it or not, I don't think they have the cloth, but it is the upgraded. Basically, the car comes with the luxury collection, which has the black leather seats.
Yeah,
includes the visibility package, but the make and some other little fancy things.
Right.
Sensors, this, that. But yeah, the visibility was, to me, like that was like my must-have when I was searching for my car.
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out, I fell in love with the look and that front end. Just, that popped to me. I loved it.
It is really gorgeous. And like I said, I want to.
We were talking about this. I got pretty lucky. We were talking about this before. With me, I was able to get one used. I was doing a lot of research on this car. I was actually looking at it before I bought my Golf R, so over 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
I opted for the Golf R because I've always been like power.
More power, baby.
That's what I did.
More power,
missed
baby.
Driving stick. And 2 years later, still looking at the 124 Abarth. That's how you know you love that car. When you're still looking at it.
All you golf owners out there, all you freaks with your vape pens and you're all about power, you heard it here, dude. He went from an R to a Spider. So
believe me, I missed the power. I would love to get like an RS3 in the future. But
damn it, don't say that.
But I would keep the 124. I will keep the 124 as like that super fun little sports car in a manual. And getting back, like I was saying, I was lucky enough. I've been searching for a long time. I found a guy, an older gentleman. He was retired locally, within an hour drive from me.
How much miles did it have?
Under 3,000 miles.
No.
That's why, like, I had to bite. I jumped on it.
If you don't mind me, how much did you pay? Because we got to get into how much did you pay?
Just under 22. While the prices were high. Remember, while the prices were high, I bought it.
Right.
What, November, December? I bought it a few months ago.
But that's an Abarth.
The prices were high.
Brand new, that was over 30. Like, I'll get into my story. But
so, like I said, I think the guy was asking 24. I told him 21. He said 22, and I think it was like just under 22. I grabbed
this is 22 cash up front too.
Yeah, just under 22 up front.
Okay, so that's different.
He, like I said, Abarth with the luxury collection, 2017, less than 3,000 miles.
If I crash my Abarth and I have insurance, I mean, I'll get into my car. Can I get an Abarth used with insurance money and do what you did?
Can you get in it? Well, you could do whatever you want with your insurance money. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like, they pay you out, then you could just go find your own car.
I'm so mad because that's an amazing deal. So here's what I did. I live in California. I got your standard basic Classica white. As long as it had a manual, that was the only thing I wanted. They had a few Abarths, but they were all automatic. And I was like, hell to the no, I'm not getting an auto. That doesn't do it for me. So they only had the Classicas, and there was a black one, but the black wasn't like a nice. It was like almost like a sparkly kind of black thing going on.
Man. That's how mine is. I'm not the biggest fan of the paint they use.
But with the Abarth, it's different. It looks a little aggressive. With the Classica, I don't know. I thought the white was nice. I didn't mind the white, and it does have because this became mandatory. But some Classicas don't have the rear view camera with the bigger screen. I have that. But here's what sucks about mine is that I thought it was going to be 22,000. Like online, the dealership says 22,000. Go there. Well, that's if you're a veteran and if you have this and you have that and you have.
I dealt with that too.
Out the door, 32,000. My dad's like, what the F? Looks through the numbers, talks to the manager. And then they're like, okay, fine, you know your crap. So here's what we're going to settle on: $28K over a 6-year finance, which I've had it for maybe 2.5 years now, and I've been paying it off like quicker than the insurance that I have on it. But
pricey. You paid that much for that's pricey for a Classica.
But it's California too, though, with all the.
Damn.
Here's the other thing, though. There was a Mazda dealership. I didn't even want to go over there because on their website, all of them were club spec Miatas above $35,000, and I was like, I'm not spending that much on a Miata. I'm sorry, like that's Mustang GT and Audi territory, right?
Yeah,
so,
I'm not it's obviously personal preference. I love the freaking 124 Spider Abarth, even the regular. Like I love the looks of it compared to the Miata.
The only thing that I'm sad about with my Classica that I do want to fix, it's going to be stupid expensive though, is to get an LSD. Because LSDs are like huge.
Oh, yeah. I know Goodwin did it with his, right? Yeah.
And it's like $1,500 on their website. Here's the weird thing with LSDs, though, that I want to ask you is I thought without an LSD, you can't do a peel out or a burnout, but I've been able to get both.
Your YouTube channel shows it. You can.
Right? So, but I think it's with drifting and controlling because I notice sometimes like the grip up is weird with the open diff. It like fights itself. I think LSD, that's where it knows how to give I think in tight turns and bends, I think that's where it shines.
Yeah.
All right. So we went off on, I may have interrupted you on there a couple parts, but your LED light package with the black. One thing I love about the way that looks is that when you have just the LEDs on, what I'm saying like that, just the LEDs on and like the dark, you can it looks super cool. Like it almost like the light fades within the body and you just see like the little bits of white pieces. That's a really cool, like sinister thing going on there. Are you thinking about tinting it by any chance?
Yeah. My past few cars, I've had someone. I had my BMW, the E92 M3 that was tinted. In Jersey, you're not supposed to, but I never like really had a problem with that. And it would look pretty sweet with the black car, black a little bit.
Right. What's your thoughts on white car tint? What's your car like a white car tint? I'm iffy about it. I keep going back and forth. I don't know if it would look nice.
That would look sweet. What do you mean? White car
would look cool.
Windows? With the tinted windows, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my white car.
Shout out to Straight Gas with 124, another channel. He he crashed. Well, he got into an accident, but before the new car he had a white one with tints. And I saw
he's got a red one now, right?
He's got a red one now, but he put up a video on YouTube of the white one with tints, and it looks sick. You can't go wrong with the white and black contrast. Like he has the Abarth, obviously. The Abarth already has a lot of black accessories, accent pieces. So the black tint, it just kind of has that nice contrast of black and white.
Yeah, my whole thing is I'm already without a catalytic converter. I got a Sport Cat on it. It's loud as hell, louder than your Ragazon because I don't have a
muffler at all.
Open close flap. It's just straight boom. And I feel like I have carbon. I have like that spoiler, so I feel like I'm already giving attention to the cops. I don't know if tint, but the funny thing is, most time when I drive, I got my windows all the way down and my roof down, even if it's at nighttime, because I'm in California. I don't have snow like you, so everything's down. So even if I had tint, except for the front, I don't know if it would even be that bad. But all right, man, let's get into like the couple of the pointers we had here for your channel. All right.
So we're gonna talk about the first car that we both had.
Yeah.
I'll go first. So my first car was actually my only automatic up until the Golf R. Since then, they were all manuals. First car was a 98, either 97 or 98 Honda Prelude.
Okay.
Which even to this day, I still think they age so damn well. Still have a soft spot for them. I would love to pick one up on the side one day in a manual. When I had it was an automatic. That's before, it had the Tiptronic, as they called it back then. It's not like the fancy paddle shifters. It was a 4-speed automatic where you could shift up and down with the little, they call it Tiptronic, but it was slow as balls in the sense that you shift up and then it's 2 seconds passes before the car shifts. It's just so slow, but it was a fun car. That's where modding cars, I got into it. I did the intake, downpipe, full exhaust, springs, all that crap on the Honda Prelude. It was fun. And then, moved on from there. And then,
how about you tell us all the cars from the Prelude if you can? Because let's just do that. So what happened after Prelude?
When I was young, the dream car was a Mitsubishi Evolution. Always loved Evos. You got the STI and the Evo, folks. I was always Evo.
Yeah,
So got a Honda Prelude, got a Honda Prelude. That was my first car. Don't know how long later, years down the road, whatever, I got an Evo 9. It was a graphite gray.
Ooh.
I've always been a fan of white, black, and gray cars. I'm not a color. Like that's it, you know?
Yeah.
But I was graphite gray, kind of a charcoal, very similar to my Golf R.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Tuned it. Actually, funny story, because you just put out a video on how you blew your engine. I'll touch base very vaguely on that. Similar scenario.
Please do.
I had a friend.
But I hate your story because it's so much nicer than what happened to me. But
the end result was better. So I had a friend who owned a shop, and one of the workers there was doing camshaft install and got the timing off and blew the engine basically. So since it was at a real shop, again, this is a long time ago. I'm in New Jersey. There was a shop. I don't even know if they're in business now. I think they were called Turbo Tricks. I forget. Either way, they specialized in STIs and Evos. So that shop sent my car off to them for a full engine rebuild, and they paid for the entire rebuild. Wow. So I got back a fully built engine, Evo 9. It was tuned, I had everything going. I didn't bring it to its full capability because it was a built engine, and then that car got totaled. My one and only car accident in total.
How'd you get it totaled? What happened?
I was coming back from a car meet in New Jersey over in Edgewater, and again, I had someone behind me. Out of nowhere, I lost control. The person behind me said they saw sparks. What I think happened was my tire must have come off the wheel. Holy shit. My tires were pretty worn down. Again, this is just like what I'm going off of, because I remember it was like about to be an exit and I had to go over. And you know, like when there's an exit and you're going over, there's a lot of gravel sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I went over that side and the car kind of started to lose control. And it's probably a mixture of that, the gravel. But the guy behind me, my friend, said he saw sparks before I crashed or anything. So I don't know exactly. And after the accident, the wheel was split in two. Basically, I ping-ponged against the barrier and the median and all that crap. Thank God no one was injured.
When you say ping pong, because I'm in California, so we don't know these terms of Jersey, this Jersey talk over there. With the ping pong.
I'm just saying, like, on the highway.
The Philly cheesesteak. I just said Philly cheesesteak. That's not Jersey.
I got pictures of this car, so I'll be posting them while we're talking. Basically, lost control, hit the front, bounce, hit the back, came back.
Oh, literally ping pong.
Like ping ponged across. Yeah.
Holy shit. Did you have any passengers with you?
Yes. Like when you see the photos, you'll see the back and the front are both damaged. Because
sorry. Did you have anyone with you in the car?
Yeah. I had someone in the front and in the back. And thank God nobody was injured.
Ooh.
I got glasses, as you can tell. After the accident, my glasses, I don't know where they were. My friend went in my car to get to look for them. The accident happened like right after a bend. A fucking 18-wheeler came and took off my front bumper while using the car looking for my glasses. So that was scary as shit, because we're gonna probably beep out a lot of stuff here. But yeah, that was a crazy experience.
That was your only accident, knock on wood.
On wood, yep. That was it. So after that, let me think. What the hell did I get?
And that was after Honda Prelude. That's your second car.
Yes.
How long did you have the Evo?
I can't remember, man. Like, I've been through so many cars, I can't put like a timestamp on it.
You're like those guys who's like, how many girls have you been with? I can't remember.
Dude, that's how it is with cars. Yo, the funniest thing. Forgot. I gotta say the flip. Anyway, so that happened with the Evo. I'm trying to think of the next car. I want to say it was the G37.
This is a good problem to have, though. I like it. It's like G37.
An Infinity G37S, 6-speed
nice.
manual, obviously sport. I had a buddy locally who had a shop. He was working on GTRs and he had a dyno there. So I put.
What is this buddy hookup, man? Sweet.
This is someone else. I don't know where. I think he's in Arizona or somewhere now. But anyway, that had a Cobb Access port, because we were talking about that off camera. Yes. So I had the Cobb Access port. I had full dual cold air intakes, both ons and a tune.
How nice was that car?
It drove so nice. It was a perfect balance of like luxury and sport. It sounded amazing. Those engines sound so great. As you know, the 370Z, basically the same thing, just different whatever body.
That wasn't a manual, obviously, right? That's automatic, right? The G30.
It was a 6-speed manual. It was the G37S.
Because it was hard to find them with manuals.
Yeah, it was a 6-speed manual. It was super smooth. I had coilovers and a set of wicked gold freaking wheels on there. Like I got a semi-sponsorship at the time with a wheel company out of New York.
Wow.
So it was a black G37, lowered gold wheels. I gotta find some pictures.
Was the Preludes weren't rear wheel drive, were they?
Nope, they're front.
So this is the first rear wheel drive car now. You went from that Mitsubishi
Front
now
all to rear. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you like that rear wheel drive?
It was nice. You know, I was still, I don't know how old, still pretty young. It was my third car, but it was fun, man. It was really fun.
That's dope.
Then I had the itch to go back to Evos. So I sold that and bought an Evo 10.
Now, here's the thing. Is it true that these Evos aren't reliable? Because I have buddies.
Oh, hell no. They're so freaking reliable. Are you kidding me? Do you know how much people push wicked amounts of power?
There's so much stuff about people saying, oh, the Evos, they're not reliable. And I'm like, well, the Subaru's known for like no reliability with the head.
I was going to say, the Subaru, I've heard people, it's not really reliability. It's the fact that they're not as potent. The engines can't handle as much. But the
overheating and issues like that.
In the Evo 9, I think it's the 4G63. Those things can handle so much, especially if they're built. And in the 10, I think it's the 4B11. Again, put it this way. When I had my Evo 10, the engine itself, like internals, was not touched. I had all bolt-ons, a drop-in larger turbo, meth kit, 32 pounds of boost, dyno 473 wheel horse, so well over 500.
Wow.
You know, crank, whatever. 473 wheel, factory internals. It pulled, the thing was like a freight train because first gear, all-wheel drive. That's the only car I went to the track a few times, but it was before the turbo. I brought it there when it was just bolt-ons and a tune, and it ran like a 12. I forget.
So what happened to this crazy car with that much horsepower? Like what happened?
I owned that for a long time. I owned that one for a long time, and I just wanted to switch things up. It got to the point where, like, when you have a car like that, when you drive it, you can tell it was built. Like, it just wasn't a daily driver at that point. It had like an Exetti clutch in it. Like, everything was those type of cars. You can't just like, you need to modify everything. Fuel pump, this, clutch, that. Like, it felt aggressive all the time. The clutch was like an on-off switch. It was really aggressive. So what next? I moved up and I got
it was too much. It was just too much.
Yeah, I wanted something a little more smoother. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's something that people don't want to talk about. Like, no one wants to admit, like, because it's like, oh, you don't want to be soft. You want to be like, no, I got a roll cage. I daily my 3-point harness, seatbelt. Like, no one wants to admit that, like, sometimes too much is too much. And there's nothing wrong with wanting some realistic, like, not a crazy.
If I had another car on the side as a daily, I might have kept it. But again, like, I just have a habit of doing this. You can tell, like, the Prelude, the Evo, the G37, the Evo, like, just a bad freaking expensive habit. So,
that is expensive because you made, but sorry, keep going. So this car is too much, and you're like, all right, let's go to the next project.
Yeah. So the next one was an E92 M3, which I've always loved.
Oh my God, this is so many legends.
They sound incredible. The freaking naturally aspirated V8 that revs higher than like an S2000 almost. It goes to like $9,000.
And it's a V8.
That goes to like $9,000. Like, it's that like exotic territory of like high revving V8. Small, I think it was a 4.2. I forget, 4.0, 4.2. Small, but it just revved so damn high.
Right. And was it supercharged? Is that what you did to it?
Yeah, I had it. I had that car again for quite some time. I actually owned that probably for the longest time.
Wow.
Had it bolt-ons and a tune, without boosted, naturally aspirated. Bolt-ons and a tune. Sounded wicked, fast. And then this is when my business started doing real good online. Those freaking superchargers were not cheap. Over 20 grand got put into it. They ain't cheap.
No.
Swear to God, it was crazy.
Really?
Like, over the course of everything I put in, like, so I supercharged it. I had a shop locally, Auto Couture. Shout out to them again. They do great work when it comes to BMWs. So they did, I went with an ESS tuning kit. The kit was estimated to put down probably close to 600, a little over 500 to the wheels.
Okay.
And if you ever look at a dyno graph of like these cars, like, they just look like a big turbo car. Like, this is my opinion, because
really,
you think V8, you think torque, but
low end, stable build.
These high revving V8s are just like, they don't have a lot down low, and then they just like shoot up.
Right.
So like,
do you know if it was flat plane crank or whatever, like the Mustang GT350, where it's all about the high end power? Because I know that
it's all
is
high
too.
end.
Okay.
It's how do you, I forget the proper terminology. It responds and acts more like a turbo technically. So
I'm sure the BMW fanatics are in the comments right now, like ripping their hair out. Like,
from 6,000, from like 6 to 9, it just freaking ripped. Like it just
9,000. Wow.
Almost like
that's
8,
crazy.
8 and change. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, compared to the Fiat, it's like so much more leg room.
Yeah. I'm going to rip through the next line of cars because I want to get you going. Because this.
All right. No, I like this though. I like getting to know what you've been through. This is exciting. Like dude, mine's like 4 cars or something. Like, keep going.
So basically, while I had the Supercharged M3.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's when my business was doing really good. And I was just stupid with my money. I bought a crap load of cars. So I had the E92 M3. And then I owned 3 other cars with it. I'm trying to think of the order. I forget the order that it went in. I forget the order. I had the E92 M3. At that point, the C7 Stingray just got released. Corvette C7. Never a Corvette fan, but that new C7, when it came out, it had that beautiful exotic look to it. I fell in love with it.
Yes.
All up dealerships. I think I got it from a dealership in.
You got a Stingray too? Holy cow.
C7 Sting. I put a custom order in. It was white. All white. I actually have some nice photos. I'll probably pop them up. It was all white with the full red interior, red leather seats, red leather. I think the dash had red leather.
Red and white. Okay.
Everything was red, black, and white. So I got. I
don't know how I feel about the red with the white, but okay.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was good.
It freaking popped. It was so nice. The red with the white and the black. Oh man. So I had the white M3, the white Vet, and then I got. I forget the order. No, that's the only one that I didn't touch yet. It
just had so much power,
so much low end torque. You know, the M3 would take it on the highway like nothing, but down low, the Corvette is where like.
I heard that you could even like put the Corvette, those C7s, in like 6th gear, or didn't it have 7 gears?
7, yeah, it was a 7.
And you could put it in 7 and like go at 30 miles an hour or something, right? Because it just could it do stuff like that? It had so much
torque. Yeah, I don't think I ever did that test, but yeah, it was a 7-speed. It was fun as hell, but it was weird, man. Like, to be honest, in hindsight, it's one of the cars the most I regretted buying. Probably because I could have done better things with that cash at the time. I bought it brand new.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it that much. Like, I don't know what it was.
So?
I had the M3 and I just loved the M3 so much more. The Vet had a ton of torque. To me, I felt like I was in a boat. It was so damn big. And I like smaller cars. Like, I got a 124 now, you know what I mean? So I had the Vet, I had the M3. Then I wanted, a daily, so to say. Yeah. But still fun. So I got an Acura RSX Type-S, which I still love those. It was black, all black. Had that. And again, I might be not even putting these in order. And then I bought one of the cars I regret the most selling, an AP2 S2000.
You had an S2000?
Yeah. It was an AP2 S2000, completely stock. I put an intake on it, but I bought it completely stock locally. Low mileage too, man. Like 40, I think 40 some, maybe 50. It wasn't more than 10,000 miles. I regret selling. I bought it. I sold it 2 years later for it was the same price or more than I bought it for.
No way.
But that's why the 124 also caught my attention, because it kind of filled that void of like, crap, I regret selling my S2000.
I got to ask you on that topic, because I have buddies that bug me about, you should have bought the S2K. The S2K is so much better. The S2K this, the S2K is God. Where does that and the 124 compare? Because obviously with S2Ks, people make 700 horsepowers. They got flames. It's all craziness.
Yeah, but dude, you know how much money you got to put in to get there? Like, to build it, I'm saying. Like, any car that's naturally aspirated, you're going to, most of the time, have to put a lot more money to extract the power.
That's a good point.
From having a ton of turbo cars and the 124, the another reason why it appealed to me was factory turbo. I've dealt with so many factory turbo cars. I know the potential of just bolt-ons in a tune. You're going to get such a noticeable difference where on a naturally aspirated bolt-ons in a tune like my G37, like it's barely noticeable.
And you get more torque with the 124, right? Compared to the S2K, because the S2K doesn't.
But that's where the power delivery is like left and right with those two cars. Yeah. The S2 is all up top. The 124 is like a ton of punch right in the middle. You could build it to keep it going up top. But yeah, at the time I had all 4 of those cars. It was, in hindsight, the stupidest decision because like I could have invested that money into a much better than into like a bunch of cars. And then I slowly started selling some off. I sold the Corvette first. Yeah, at the end I was stuck with the S2 and the M3, you know, the 2 cars that I thoroughly enjoyed the most.
The highest revving ones too. Yeah, that's
funny, oddly enough, yeah. And then
I think there's just an enjoyment with the fact that you can keep going and going, right? On that rev limiter and it's still building. It's not like I'm done. It's just still pulling to the top. That's something really nice. I can imagine.
They were fun, man. They were definitely fun. Where the 124 is fun in its own way.
After those 2, is that where you went to the Golf or?
Yeah, so I sold the S2, then I sold the M3 finally. That was my longest span of having a car.
Okay.
And then I bought a Golf R. Was not planning on selling it. Was not planning.
What did you do to the Golf R? What stuff did you do to that car? How far did it go in power?
All bolt-ons, you know, downpipe exhaust, intake, intercooler, all bolt-ons and a stage 2 tune, which I believe on the R's was 400 horse, 400 torque, give or take around that.
How did that car feel compared to S2K and BMW?
It reminded me of my Evos, obviously, because they're all all-wheel drive turbo. They're in the same playing field, you know what I mean?
But it was probably more luxurious, right?
Oh yeah, the interior was, you know what I mean? It's like a step down from Audi in a sense. So it's like, they're beautiful. You know what I mean? Like you felt good. Hold on, my dog wants to get in.
So this guy literally had S2000s, Evos, the V8 crazy supercharged BMW. Now he's got a Spider. Yeah.
Say hi.
That is the cutest dog. It's just like sitting there. It's so calm.
So let me think. What the hell was I saying?
Who are you, dude? You got guitars and you got Marilyn Monroe and you're all classy and you're like, I'm in Jersey and you got this chain.
My girl loves Marilyn Monroe. I got the Pulp Fiction one over here, which is pretty sick.
Okay, there we go. And then you got your dog who's just like sitting there like a human. That's like he or she. What's the or non-binary? What are we?
It's a girl, Roxy.
Roxy.
Yeah, say hi.
She's so cute. She's so calm. She's just like.
I'll let her sit down here. She'll sleep next to me. All right. So, yeah, the Golf R reminded me more like my Evos, obviously. But it was an automatic, my first automatic in 10 years.
Right. But it has those really cool paddle crap things going on.
I was always the person that was like, you know, dual clutch. I'm like, it's still an automatic. Like, I don't care. I want a manual. Like, oh, there's a dual clutch. No, I don't care. It's an automatic. I've read people on the forum saying, oh, you got to test drive it. Like, I was always hard-headed. Like, I don't care. Right. It's an automatic.
That's how I am.
I test drove one, and I was like, ooh. I'm like, this shit's fast.
Really?
It shifts. Like, it's crazy. So I test drove it. I liked it. I'm like, you know what? It's more practical. Yeah. You know, it's a hatchback. It's all-wheel drive. It's automatic. So I bought one.
Perfect for snow, everything.
Yeah, so I bought it, tuned it. You know, it's got launch control. I think my best 0 to 60 was like 3.7, 3.6.
Now, okay.
6. I don't remember. I think I have it on one of my videos.
We'll get that to the next part, which is the fastest car you've driven. I'm curious to see what your reaction is there. But why did you want to sell the Golf? How'd you go from all these powerhouses to 1.4 Fiat?
So that's like twofold. One, I really, really miss driving stick after owning the Golf for a few years.
Really?
I really miss driving stick.
Wow.
And I was willing to sacrifice a lot of power, you know, at the time to go down.
Yeah.
Pretty big difference from like 400 to like 1.
It's like almost like a third, not even a half, kind of.
So I really miss driving stick. And at the time, financially, it was just a smart move. I was moving around some finances, and the used car market, as we all knew, was so damn high. So I was able to sell the Golf R for what I bought it for. Like, yes, I modified it. Yes, I modified it. But when the hell can you buy a new car and 2 years later sell it for that same price?
And usually when you modify cars, the value just people, that's what I heard, the value goes down. So
I was able to get
for the same price.
I was able to sell it for the same price. Actually, same price even probably after probably more than sticker, believe it or not, because I got it for a hair under sticker. Anyway, financially, it was just a wise thing to do. And like I said, I was still had my eyes on a 124 Abarth 2 years later. So that's how I knew I still loved the car. I still like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a flyby, like, oh, I like it, I don't like it. It wasn't an impulse because 2 years later, I'm still eyeballing.
Spoke to you.
So yeah, I just took the plunge and, cashed out with some money and then got the 124, eventually dumped it on the 124.
Yeah. That's awesome. I like how much, and I didn't know that. And I'm happy you said that because now I get why you've done, now you have credibility more than you had before. Now I'm like, all right, this guy, I like where he's coming from. And I'm
not
also
gonna lie though. I just want to put it in there too. Like I'm not like a track oriented. Like you have the track folks and you have people like me, more of an enthusiast, a car enthusiast. I've been to the drag strip a couple times with the Evo, etc. But I'm not huge. I don't have a ton of experience to that.
Yeah, but
that's why, like, when I let people know that, like in my videos, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Take anything anyone says with a grain of salt. Everyone's got their levels. I'm not like a super track oriented person. I would love to get more into that. But I'm
here's
still
the thing, though. You're more realistic because those people who are super track oriented, yeah, they got a lot of knowledge, but a lot of the stuff they do and what they want is not really applicable to people like me and other people, like 80%, 90% of car owners who are just enthusiasts. And everyone wants to say they're hard. Everyone wants to say they got a 3-point harness and they got rid of their seats. They put bucket seats and they get rid of their airbags and they put a Alcantara steering wheel on it and all this crap. But the fact of the matter is, like, that life's not really for most of us. And most of us just want to make more power. We want more grip and we want mods that are going to work for what we do. Occasional canyons, occasional streets, going to car meets. And that's why I like seeing someone like you and the content you put out, because it's super like, this is what I'm going to get. Like just what you're getting. This is what I use for. Like, it's very relevant is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to get into my cars now, but I'm happy we went on your 2-hour escapade because this is really cool. Because I've had buddies who have talked smack with the Golf GTI. My car's better than yours. An S2000, my car's better than yours. And it's cool to see a guy who's had all these really, really cool cars and still went with the Spider. So it shows me
it's all personal preference. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But the Spider can still hold its own even with these great cars. That's what the point I'm trying to make.
And at the end of the day, they're all different. They're all good.
Right.
You're going to enjoy each one for what it is a little bit different.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
There's no real best.
Yeah, like I went into this knowing knowing that, like, okay, up top, it might not pull like an S2000. Down low, it's not like a Golf R. Like, I went in knowing, so I wasn't like dissatisfied. I wasn't like, oh my God, like this car sucks. It's got no down low. Up top, like, no, it's okay. You drive it.
Last thing before we go on to meet, how do you feel about having to put the top up yourself compared to your S2 case top? Because S2K has got its own automatic.
Yeah.
Top.
Fine with it, dude. Like, you can't get any quicker than that. It's 1, 2, 3. It's up. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I'm fine.
Okay.
It's whatever. You save weight. That's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I haven't used it that much. I bought it in the winter. It's still freaking snowing. So
it's also funny because sorry about that. It's also kind of funny though, because real quick, Savage Geese, this YouTube channel, he has an S2000. He put it against a Mazda, and those new Mazdas, they're faster, 0 to 60 and stuff than S2000 now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was a stock one.
I think it's 2019 where they gave the extra power on the Sky.
The extra rev and the shift points are really good on those Miatas.
If
I'm curious though.
Better, I might have looked into it. I don't
but you know what? I'm curious to see how far, if you go E85 or stuffed turbo, if the Fiats can beat a stock S2K then, and if they can beat the Miata finally. I think they can. I'm curious to see if there's any.
Wait, you're asking if a stock S2000, if a tuned 124 Spider can beat a stock?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, man, because the other day I was digging through some old video clips, and I only have like one video clip of my S2 where I'm revving through the gears and like I'm freaking holding the phone as I'm shifting, and like I think it's like a second or third, I don't know, like 40 to 100. So like I put it up side by side with my current tuned one, and like I was looking at the miles per hour as they went up,
right?
And they were like neck and neck. Mind you, I'm phase one.
No way.
Up until about 80 to 90 miles per hour. And then believe it or not, the S2 started to look like it was quicker. Now,
right, but you don't have stuffed turbo. You got a Euro compulsion tune, so it's understandable.
With that being said,
if you had a torque tune, maybe it's another video. We'll get into.
We'll save that for the next one. If I had phase two, the next one, I could easily see it taking on.
But classic torque tuner. I'm still waiting on my torque tune, and you're all set to go with Hero Compulsion, so that also speaks for itself too.
Okay, we'll see how long you gotta wait.
But I also didn't
Call
even
me in the spring. Let me know what you got.
But to be fair to Torque though, they mentioned I could get a better tune, but like I haven't even paid for it, so I can't really complain. Like I haven't, you know what I mean? Like I haven't paid for the whatever one plus that I told you about, and you're like, what the hell? There's a 0 and a plus and a 1. All right, to get to my cars, we'll finally get to this. I started out with the stupidest way of doing it. It's not going to make any sense. It's pretty nonsensical, but my dad decides to lease a brand new Toyota Tacoma under his name, and then I'm going to drive it. So that's what I did. First car to drive, a big Toyota Tacoma where if I accidented or crashed it or whatever, like this is bad. It's a lease. It's got to go back. You got to fix it. But thankfully, I didn't get any accidents. It was an automatic, and it wasn't like a 6-cylinder Tacoma. This is the 4-cylinder Tacoma, which they don't even make anymore, or it's really hard to find them. It had like 150 horsepower, maybe 170 and 190 torque in a lift, like, you know, in a big Tacoma. So I wasn't going anywhere, and it was slow. And I thought car guys and the whole car thing was dumb and whatnot. I always wanted a 500 though. That was like the car I saw, and I was like, I want a 500 Abarth. I love the way 500s look. And then, you know, my dad, once the Tacoma got away, he's like, all right, so I found a buddy of mine who's a mechanic who he came and looked at this used 500, and it's like one of those salvage titles, but it's just because something small, right? It's not a big deal. They got it fixed, and we trusted my buddy's mechanic friend. And it was like going for 12 grand. And this at the time is like still 2017. It's like a 2014 Fiat. So that's amazing for a $25,000 Abarth to be 12 grand or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My first manual, I learned on it and stuff, but man, it was breaking down with not stuff related to Fiat. Like the window wouldn't go back up, like the lights would go out. I found out that like when it got in an accident, the person who like put the clutch back like messed some stuff up. So it was like a really jinky Fiat, had issues going on with it. And then from there, like you always wanted the Spider. First off, you seem really disinterested right now.
I'm not disinterested.
You're just quiet, and you're just like, I was interested. Oh, listen, not all of us have Honda Preludes and Evos and shit. Come on, man. All right, sorry. Maybe I was getting disinterested. I felt like I was getting bored.
I'm just in the zone. Like you've done a ton of podcasts. This is my first time doing one. Like I've never done this before. So
hey,
I'm just
man,
like,
I've done a lot of videos and podcasts.
Like dance over
my
here
subscriber number just hit 65, where you're like over 300. So like that should tell you something. Like you know what you're doing. I don't.
Yeah, I've never done stuff like this. So
hey, man, I even made rap videos. Okay, you can check them out. They call them Truth. Yeah, they're interesting. Back to the salvage title 500 Abarth that was black, came with black tint too. That was the first time that I got a ticket. Like the Tacoma, I was never getting pulled over. I never did anything. Put the little Abarth in sport mode and ripped it, and cops would just see me and hear me. And that car came stock, no muffler, no resonator. And the cops I had to get you. They're like, I had to get you. You were just too loud. You're going crazy. And I like only hit 70, but it wasn't like a 40. Damn. And then this cop said, you got to take your tint off. I won't give you a speeding one. And then the next one did. But back to the story. This salvage title 500, it's breaking around. It's breaking, and it's got issues. And you know, the paint was always chipped. It was my first manual though, so I didn't want something really nice either, because I was like stalling a lot, man. So it was good for what I needed. Then I want to get a new car, but we were looking at trucks. I was going to go back to truck. I'm going to get a big truck, forget about cars and speeding tickets. And I would take the 500 in the canyons. And man, I mean, it wasn't like breaking, but like the 500s, like people can make them handle pretty well, but stock, they're not like a crazy, you know, powerhouse handling car, and the tires weren't upgraded. So I went in the canyons once or twice. I hated the experience, and I thought I'm going to go into trucks. Trucks were stupid expensive. And because of my saltiness with going used, although now I have a different view on used cars, because if you just don't get a salvage title one, they can be great. So I wanted to go new, and I saw on the website 22,000 Spider Classica. And for California, like everything's really expensive here. So if you can even Nissan Sentras, for example, go for $19,000 to $22,000. Like that's like the $14,000 Nissan. I don't know how, but everything gets marked up here.
That's crazy.
Thanks to Newsom and all that, whatever. So what do I do? Really bad decision. So now I get the Classica for like $28,000, 6-year finance, and I give them my 500 Instead of privately selling my own 500,
you could have gotten so much more probably.
I gave it for less than $2,000. They took it from me.
What?
And the miles weren't even, they were at 30. The funniest thing is I still look at 500s on Facebook Marketplace. I found my same car.
Oh my God.
Not kidding you. My same car, because it had like a certain thing with the front where like it had like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like I checked the VIN and stuff. It's literally my car. It has 60,000 miles on it. I didn't think it would make it that far because I had some misfires going on, but I didn't know much about cars. Maybe it just needed better plugs. Hit up to 60,000 and they're selling it for like 6,000 while telling people it's a salvage title. And I've witnessed it being resold and put up under different names. It's just passing around people and they keep putting more miles on it. I swear to God, true story. So I'm literally like, I could have made at least $6,000 off of this. This thing's got 30,000 more miles than when I had it. And wow, I really messed up with the dealership.
Now you know, it's always good to, even when I bought mine, I went private because you can get a better deal buying private, and then selling, you get more. It's like a win-win. You cut out the entire middleman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So both parties get a little something.
It's not over though. So you guys can check out my video about my whole thing about how I destroyed my Fiat Spider's engine and whatever. That's great. While that was getting destroyed, not even a year of ownership, it's taken so long. I get an E46, but it was like a 328i or something like that. It wasn't a crazy one. It was an automatic, but wow, straight 6 BMW, first time 6-cylinder. I love the way that thing sounded, and it wasn't a powerhouse, but even the E46 body, it was beautiful. I fixed it up, put new lights in it. I was outside of an AutoZone with my buddy. My buddy's like, got to put a K&N air filter. It's going to change this thing. I'm like, all right. While we're doing it, this guy walks by and he's like, oh, what kind of car is this? What kind of model is this? And if it's within this year, this is the one car BMW has a warranty for up to 20 years and like 150,000 miles. This guy turns out works at a BMW dealership. Look up the VIN number. This car is under 150,000 miles. Within less than 2 months, it'll be 20 years old or whatever at the time. I take it to BMW dealership. They fix the Vanos thing and they check for engine leaks, everything. $0 charge.
Damn.
And then I put a cool exhaust on the car. I got LEDs and like the clear headlights on the car. It looked mean. It looked nice. I'll put some of the photos of it. And then my head's like, well, I always wanted a motorcycle. That's another story. I'm like, COVID happened. You know what? Screw my mom. She's going to go with this plan. I'm going to sell this and get a motorcycle. Awesome. Mom, can I get a dirt bike? No. And I think my mom and dad were like, yeah. And the Fiat, I got the Fiat back. It was working. I think they wanted me to think, yeah, you can totally get a motorcycle once you get get rid of the BMW. I think they just wanted me to cut down on my cars and stuff because I'm still paying for the Fiat and whatnot. So I sold the BMW and now I have money and I'm going to probably use that money to do some mods, but I'm going to be very slow and smart with what I do because I don't want another blown engine situation.
Well, you're on like, I think you're what, third engine now, according to that video. So give or take. And
it shoots out white smoke or whatever. Let's put it this way. I don't think Euro Compulsion would tune my car knowing what I've done to it, what's gone through. They'd be like, no, this is too much of liability. This ain't safe. You got a P031, whatever, check engine light on. Torque's the only one where he's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll work something out. That's a good one.
What's the fastest car you've driven? I know that was the other thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
Is it one of those, or have you been or have you driven another faster car?
My dad doesn't let me drive his cars. My parents, I don't know if it's because they don't trust me. They keep saying it's the insurance, even though I've never been in an accident. Oh shoot. Real quick side note. I got to tell you this because you talked about how you crashed your Evo. I tried drifting my open diff Classica with its stock wheels. We're like Yokohama, all whatevers. I put in second gear, dropped the clutch. We were about 40 miles an hour, 90-degree turn, dropped the clutch, pop it out. Next thing I know, my friend says I did a Mustang move. We go we're in the middle of a tight road. We go this way, fishtailing, really hard, almost past 180 degrees. We fishtailed 3 or 4 times. Every time we're fishtailing, I'm turning the wheel the opposite way. And it all happened so quick. And the last thing I remember is just seeing my dad saying, you effed up. And then I turned the wheel just out of instinct or just luck, I guess. I turned the wheel. Next thing I know, we do a 180. Now, instead of being in this lane, we're in the other lane facing the right direction. The car's engine turns off. I think because I popped out the clutch at that point. Me and my friend look at each other. We're like, is the car okay? I'm like, I think so. We drove off.
Damn. So that was close.
I was
Just
stupid
dancing
lucky.
in the roads.
And maybe I'll put a photo on Google Maps of the road. It was so tiny. And then like seconds later, a big truck came the other way. So if this happened while another car was there, so long story long now, I don't try drifting with an open diff on crappy tires on public roads. I learned my lesson.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds smart.
Fastest car I've driven, to answer your question. My dad had a Tesla. He still has Teslas. Sometimes when they was getting him in the shop, they'd give him another car. So while he had his Model X getting fixed, they gave him at the time was like the fastest Model S. But I wasn't put in ludicrous or any of the cool modes, just normal modes. And my dad's like, here, you can kind of give it some gas. You know, don't tell your mom you can drive it. And still, I was like, holy cow. Like, I hit it off a light, and we just launched. And
dude, that instant torque is probably insane, right? I've never driven one yet, so I don't know.
It is. Now my dad's got the Performance 3, and he shoots off with that. And it does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, probably similar to what your Golf did, where you were at 3.2.
Yeah, it was like BMW. A little above, yeah.
So even that, it shoots you back. But for my own personal fastest car, Fiat Spider is the fastest car I've had with my torque state 0 tune. That's the fastest. What about you?
The E92 M3 Supercharged is probably that. You know, the Evo that had 473 wheel was definitely a close second. That definitely was more first, second gear, where like first gear is like a roller coaster because of the all-wheel drive, where the M3 was more, you know, first gear didn't really have traction, and then onwards it pulled. So when it comes to like literally like the fastest car, the M3 Supercharger is probably it.
What 0 to 60 you think you were hitting, or what figures or numbers?
Well, that's the problem with that. I didn't have the tires to do anything like that. Like I just didn't have traction down there. The Golf R was the quickest 0 to 60, so to say. Could the M3 been more? Maybe, but it's rear-wheel drive, so you really need to get the right tires and suspension setup.
And you have to be warmed up.
And you know, the Golf R, it was like, you can't screw it up. It's an automatic launch control. Brake, gas, drop, you're done. Boom,
that's
you're on.
Nice.
It's like, you know, you just
press
some buttons.
You had pops and gurgles with that car too, and those things are nice when you do those tunes.
That thing was pretty sweet because I had the valves, I could open and close them, and then the pops and bangs, I could have them on or off. So technically I had like four different sounds, you know, that I could.
Because Cobb, right? You had access port on that or no?
No. I went with Unitronic as the tuning.
So how are you going through the tunes like with the Unitronic? Like,
well, not the tunes, but basically, I'll put it this way. So the Golf R by default has, you know, normal, eco, race, custom, all that. A lot of cars have it nowadays.
Oh.
So in normal or below, the valves are, time out, not the valves. Normal or below, the pops and bangs are not active. And in race mode or above, the pops and bangs are active. And then I had a separate remote control that gave me full control of the valves being 100% open or closed. Because by default, the Golf R has a valve system from the factory, but they open and close depending on like throttle and RPM. So you could be driving and they randomly open and close. But a stock exhaust, not that loud, you can't tell. But a loud exhaust, it's just like randomly quiet, randomly obnoxiously loud. So like, it's like, I wanted to have full control. So I have the remote where I had it like, I could fully control it on or off.
Wow. Regardless
of throttle and RPM and all that stuff. So that's what I did with that one.
All right, let's get into this one. Most memorable ticket. You know, I'm also going to add for this one, most memorable ticket that didn't become a ticket. So I'm just gonna go off. I'm sure you got crazier stories. I'll let you marinate on it. Let me just go because I'm 22, so I don't have much insanity with the cops yet. But I got the 500. I got pulled over twice in that car within 3 months. The first time I'm off work, I put it in its stupid sport mode and I'm just ripping it. And, the cop even told me I was only here because of a shoplifter. I don't even normally check people speeding here, but, and he was nice to me. He said, I'll give you a tint, whatever, warning, seem like a nice kid. And you passed the bullshit test. And he literally told me, like, we have a bullshit test or something, like asshole test. I think he even called it to me. And he's like, it's like when we pull you over, if you're like, yo, I don't know what I was doing, and you go full Jersey Shore mode, we give you a ticket. But if you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, officer, I messed up, and a brown noser, then boom, you don't get a ticket. But I still got a ticket. It was just a fix-it ticket.
Yeah, I've gone.
And then to school one day after one of my friend's birthday parties where I heard him talking to his bros about how they all go over 100 miles an hour and crap. I'm like, you know what? I'm late to school. Screw that. I'm the man. I got my Fiat 500 Abarth. Let's go over 100 miles an hour. Let's see what my 4-cylinder can do. This is a performance car. I had a Tacoma. This is a performance car. I just go up to like past 90. I don't even want to say what speed I was going. The little 500 with its short chassis, all stock, not even tuned. Cop sees me, tracks me for 90, gives me my first ticket. And then after that, I was like, all right, you can't do this shit. And then I get the Spider, and here's where the cool story long comes in. It's 2 a.m. Let's just say I happen to maybe be with my cousin who's a minor. Let's just say I may be cruising about with the top down about over 90 or so. Let's just say this is also after Gavin Newsom, hypothetically speaking, after Gavin Newsom said we have a curfew after 10 p.m. But, my grandpa always said, if you stay with the pack, you shouldn't get a ticket. I stayed with the pack, and I was in the left lane, and we were going, let's just say hypothetically, over 90 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. Cops pull me over, and I'm literally downshifting as I'm pulling over to the right. And my cousin is really funny. He's like, dude, you literally have your pops and gurgles set to after 4,000 RPM.
Stop downshifting.
So you don't downshift, right? And so if cops pull you over, they don't hear all this because you're completely illegal, exhaust, whatever.
Yeah.
The cop's going to be the chillest. They said, yeah, man, just watch out for the speed. You know how in the Spiders you have your license and your insurance and all that in the cubby?
Yeah, because it's all, yep.
I don't know why, but I forgot. Like, I've been pulled over at least twice. I knew the steps: turn the car off, get all your stuff out. This time, I got all the videos of all the people getting shot with cops, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, man, I got to be safe here. So I literally keep my hands on the wheel. The cop comes over. I'm like, cop, do I have your permission to put my mask on? And then he puts his on. He's like, yeah, sure. I put mine on. And then I'm like, yeah, I got my license and my insurance and all that stuff, but it's in the back. And it made it seem like it's in the trunk because I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no worries. I swear, I feel like I was dreaming this. He just took my license. Then all of a sudden I hear another cop come over. And I was also trying to explain to them, like, I wasn't aware I was doing that speed because my tires are bigger. So my speedometer's off by 5 miles an hour. This one cop just comes over. All I hear is bullshit. Nice try, bud. I got a buddy with a truck. He's got that, but you knew how fast you were going. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I knew I messed up. And then, another cop comes over and I just turn around briefly. I'm seeing like multiple big SUV cops with like LED light bars, like full pickup trucks. I'm like, Jesus, did they have the whole task force?
They called the whole squad in on you.
Yeah, it was multiple cops like that.
Yeah.
I'm like 100% I'm getting a ticket. I got a minor. It's 2 a.m. And the fact of the matter was, what was I doing with my cousin? You won't even believe it. I got an 89-year-old grandfather who lives in like the Valley area. My cousin's all the way in Agoura. It's like 30 minutes, 20 minutes drive from each other. But my grandpa stays up late at night. He wants to see me and my grandson, my cousin. We literally spent time with my 89-year-old grandpa till 2 a.m. He doesn't sleep. Wow. He's a night owl. But try explaining that to cops.
Time.
We didn't drink, and I was just with my grandfather till 2 a.m. Totally didn't go to a party. Yeah.
And they're just like, okay.
Yeah, the guy literally said bullshit. And then afterwards, he said, I'm just messing with you. And I know I'm going really on a tangent here, but the other funny part of this almost ticket was that he started looking at my car saying, nice car. And I'm like, yeah, My friends call it the hairdresser's hairdresser because it's like a 70% Miata. I don't know why. Whenever people look at my car, I try to like downplay it because I think it'll be better for me. And he's just like frowning, like, what the hell? And he's like, what kind of mods do you do to this thing? Because I said, oh, dude, I did a crap ton of mods. And then as I said it, I'm like, oh, but that's a trick question, isn't it? And they're like, no, bro, it's cool. Whatever. Guy gives me my license back, didn't ask for my insurance. They just kept saying, this is your car, right? I'm like, yeah, this is my car. And no insurance, no nothing. And they're like, yeah, you guys can go. Just be careful.
That's good. At least it ended up, you know what I'm saying?
They trapped us at going 93 miles an hour too.
Damn. That's a lucky night, man. That's a lucky night.
But after that, man, I stopped screwing around with going 90. And I was only going fast because, you know, sometimes you get late at night and there's another car that pulls up next to you and you got to just keep going the same speed. And you're just like, I don't want to go slower than them. So we just keep the same. Maybe that's just my stupidity. So there's like two other cars. We're all going 90 miles an hour. But, you know, obviously I'm the sketchy one with the top down with the loud ass exhaust.
Yeah.
So who's going to get pulled over? Me. And then as we're leaving, we saw there was like 4 massive trucks, cop trucks, on the side of the road. So.
All right. So.
I can't wait to hear yours.
Okay. So, they're not too crazy. Like, knock on wood, I don't drive stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy my car when I do, but I don't obnoxiously drive through town and do dumb things. That's not me. I think it's ridiculous. So when I was young and I wasn't thinking like that, and I was driving around obnoxiously. So back when I had my Evo 9, you know, the Prelude was my first car, high school. Evo 9, I still had some friends in like high school and they didn't drive. And I remember this specifically because I was driving like 4 friends back from lunch. I picked them up from high school, you know, whatever, brought them out. On the way back, it's a side street, it's a school zone, and there's a cop undercover, just like not a cop car. Freaking gold-looking old school Mercury. I don't even know. Anyway, I forget what he clocked me at.
That's sketchy.
It was over double because it was a 25. I think it was over double. Like it might have been 50s. I wasn't
undercover school zone.
But it's the fact that it was school zone, over double, etc. That could have like cut me out completely.
Yeah, it costs a lot too, right?
Yeah, well, he lowered it to like a 32 and a 25 from recollection. It was like some sort of 30, which definitely helped a ton because the other one might have been like reckless or God knows what else between school zone and doubling and this and that. Yeah. So I remember, I think that one I had to go to court for. I forget. Probably my only time. I forget. But either way, it wasn't like probably the dumbest ticket. I was young still. Another similar, it's the Evo. Now that I think about it, the 2 times that I got a ticket, like legitimately, then my second Evo, I remember I'm driving on like it's not a highway, it's not a main road, it's like a whatever. So we're driving and next to me, a G37 pulls up. And this is the only reason why I was stupid and did this. Yeah. Because I just sold my G37 for my Evo. So I'm like, oh, you think you're cool with your G? I just fucking got rid of that. Like, you want some? I had my Evo and we did a little pull. And then the fucking cop lights come on.
No.
He pulls us both over. He like pulls me over, then goes after the other guy, pulls him over. The other cop comes from behind. So he gets us both. And I want to say that one, he gave me not reckless. Racing. I think it was careless because I think careless is under reckless. So I think he gave me a careless. I forgot how many points. I did the stupid driving school to take it down. But yeah, knock on wood after that. Like I said, I stopped doing those things.
So how many years has it been now? Knock on wood. Yeah.
Long time, man. Like I can't even remember the last time I was pulled over.
Because this hypothetical me ticket situation was like not even 3 months ago. My parents don't even know about it. But
dude, like I've never been pulled over in the Abarth, never been pulled over in the Golf R, never been pulled over in the, have I been pulled over in the M3? I had that shit for years. Like,
get out. Okay. What do you not do? Because you still speed, you still have some spirited drives.
I have fun when I can. Open road, no one around, not stupid, not on a side street, not on a road where cops hide, not all the time like an idiot. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
But there's always that chance, right? Because if you're in an open road, even if you're alone, sometimes that's even more dangerous because then if there is a cop, they're focused on you because you're the one car there, right?
Of course. Yeah. You know, it's give and take. You know what I mean? You want to enjoy it, but that's why I want to get more focused on track stuff where I can like legally push the car, enjoy it, and learn more than anything, performance control and all that stuff. But there was one funny ticket where, like you said, didn't turn into a ticket.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we're going backwards to the first Evo. I was in my first Evo, and at the time I was dating someone, and both of her parents were cops, believe it or not, in town. And the cop was just a total, like, it was late, like really late. We were going to McDonald's to get some food. That's it. Yeah. Nothing crazy. No drinking, no alcohol, no drugs. Like, seriously, just go to McDonald's to get freaking, you know, food in the middle of the night with my girl. Yeah. That's it at the time. Cop pulls me. Okay, backtrack a bit. I'm making a left. He's making a right. We make eye contact. That's never good. Shit. No. At the time, I was smoking cigarettes. I don't anymore. And we made eye contact. The dude comes back around, pulls me over. 100%. He goes, "Were you smoking a joint?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Wait, you just pulled me over?" Yeah, when we crossed, like I saw you. It looked like you had. I'm like, "Yeah, I was smoking a cigarette." Like, you really like asked me to get out of the car. No. Start searching the car. I'm young. I don't know. I get out of the car. He starts flashlighting, whatever. My girl at the time calls her dad at like, again, this is late, maybe 1 a.m. I forget what time. Calls her dad at that time, puts him on the phone with this cop. And this cop has the balls to say, "Oh, just making sure your daughter's okay." Motherfucker, you didn't even know she was in the car. If it wasn't for her.
Maybe he did though. From his perspective, no, come on. He sees you with a cute girl. He's like, this kid. Sorry for my French.
He didn't know that the daughter of the cop of that.
Right.
He was calling the cop like, "Oh, you know, just making sure your daughter's okay, yada yada yada," playing it off. He let me go, absolutely nothing. But I'm like, if it wasn't for her and her dad at that time, like he probably would have went all in and did this and did that.
No, I mean, that's nice that you had her though, but that's crazy, man. That kind of makes you think about how some people get profiled by some of the bad cops, how that must feel, right?
You got to know the law at the end of the day. You got to know the law and really make sure you know your stuff. I was young. I was just like, okay, I got out.
But if a cop did that to me, I'd do the same thing. I don't know if I'd say, "Hey, it's not within my rights to get out of the car," or fight him on that, you know?
Is him thinking I was smoking a joint probable cause? I don't know. Like, I wasn't.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I might be too scared to still tell a cop, "Hey, that's not probable cause." But I don't know. I mean, so far I've been lucky. I just pull the whole like, "I'm just an idiot. I'm sorry." Yeah. Like, damn, you're like that's a little
what I do. Like, even when I got pulled over back in the day, I'm always just super nice. Right. If you're gonna be to a cop, they're not gonna. You know what I'm saying? If you're nice, to them,
it was just
you have a better chance.
It was just funny though for me because I don't even give him my insurance, my registration. I left the car running. They told me to turn it off as I'm pulling over for some dumb reason. It's 2 a.m. I'm not really thinking. I'm literally downshifting into even second, just with my straight piped exhaust. They were all dudes. They were the chillest dudes ever. Even the guy who called me BS was telling me, "Man, I'm just messing with you, just giving you a hard time. Have a good one." Like, it was that chill. It was crazy. So I got really lucky there. But your situation, man, that's like a movie. Like, the dude sees you, just doesn't like you, just thinks you had a joint. And then
it was crazy. You know, thank God, like I said, he let me go.
Thank God you had her.
Yeah, she called her dad. He picked up at like, you know, really late.
That is so cool.
But that was that, you know.
All right. I know we're getting long, so we'll start wrapping up this section on your channel. Okay. But I think it's cool for people to get to know more about, because you haven't made a video about all the cars you've owned, have you? Have you gotten into
No, in the future, I was thinking about going through them, but that'll be
well, you can't like, now. It's over. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, this will go through it. Like, I still think the E92 M3 Supercharged is probably one of like the best budget. If you want to go fast, and I mean like 10-second fast, 11-second fast, that's probably the best way to do it. But I'm going to have another video on that. I still think they're great cars. Right. They sound ridiculous. But yeah, I think this gave the viewers a good glimpse, a little more deeper into.
But let's sorry, I know you maybe want to end it, but I got a couple things on this Google Doc I want to talk about. All right. I think we kind of talked about how the Spider compares with previously owned cars, so I think we can leave it on that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about. Do you want to touch on these Fiat Facebook pages a little bit? I do. I know I want to start off a little bit. I don't want to hate on them, but it's a funny place. It's a funny place.
Talk about the groups.
So on most groups, also you're on like a lot of groups. I need to get on your level of groups. You even are. You're on the Miata.
I'm in some Abarth groups. I don't know if you're going to be invited into those.
Oh, you elitist. You elitist from Jersey with your Abarth.
But
Wait
it's
till
funny.
I put an LSD and everything. You know, you know what? You know what I don't like about your Abarth? I hate that you need a sport mode. You know what happens in my car? When I turn it on, it is sport mode.
Dude, believe me, it's a pain in the ass. I have to always remember to put. Now it's like second. I just
No, no, yeah, 100%.
But it's a pain to have to remember. But
the worst part is
talking about groups real quick.
Yeah,
because there are a couple groups. One of the main problems is the butting heads, the people who love them completely stock versus the people who modify them and like just like not understanding.
It's a clash of communities, tuner versus non-tuners. Yeah.
So I actually, shameless plug, but I'll have you in there too. I just made a group, which I'm going to do. I just made one. It's called 124 Spider Modified. I purposely did not put the word Abarth in it, because I want anyone who has a 124 Spider and modified. I've seen the Abarth modified. I'm in that group too. But I haven't seen one where it's just enthusiasts, tuners, people who like to modify them. So you don't get the guy who's like, oh, that sounds like crap. Why'd you do that? Oh, your wheels.
Yeah.
Why would you touch it? Why do you put an exhaust? Why do you do wheel? Why the hell did you
Why don't you just put a Santa Claus hat on the back of the loops and take photos and call it little bitsy itsy?
I just wanted a place.
Why don't you put a little logo on the Fiat emblem?
I wanted you crazy.
No, I'm sorry, but there's videos of dudes putting like sticker logos covering up the Fiat emblem with like, you know, Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
Uh-huh.
I'm a Spider-Man nut. So Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he had a certain design of Spider-Man. They use that Spider-Man logo from a superhero.
I've seen
put it over the Fiat logo.
Yeah.
They're getting views. I make a POV going illegal speeds and stuff. Nothing. I'm making, you know, how I blew up my engine. Nothing. And then this guy with his, I'm a hater right now, but this guy with like putting a sticker logo on, boom, you're hitting 1,000 views. I'm just like, damn, he knows how to work the internet.
Yeah. See, at the end of it, I've seen the people with the spider, with the Santa Claus hat. And that's the thing. When I see that stuff, I might not like it. But I don't go in the comments and be like, oh, dude, that looks like shit. But like I put up my exhaust and I get people going, what's that horrid noise in between shit?
It's like kettles being made with the blow off valve. Is that kettle going off in the background?
Well, someone's like, what's that horrid? I'm like, you mean the pops and bangs? Like, do you not know? Like either they live under a rock or maybe they just don't know tuning, which is completely fine. But I get like seriously like the dumbest comments sometimes. Yeah. I've seen them on yours. You make a freaking video about your dislikes. And people are like freaking attacking you. Like,
but to be fair, I made a dislikes on a fan page. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, and people were like, "You got nuts."
Yeah, but come on, man. Like,
you got macadamia nuts.
People do like likes and dislikes on YouTube for different.
But here's the thing. I think that's why you're growing more and why it's so good. When you have people not liking your stuff, it gets views. Any type of attention gets you closer to getting more views.
At the end of the day, it's going to be good and bad. I showed you that comment of the dude when he left me on YouTube, like literally telling me to like, you know, but that's just like a troll. You got trolls everywhere.
No, and it's good to have them. That's what I learned is the worst thing is I made a lot of YouTube videos. The worst thing is only getting 20 views. Or for me, I've only now started going up past 90 and not getting any likes and just having your mom or dad comment and having like 1 or 2 people be your subs. I've had that for like 6 years on YouTube. That pisses me off more. I'd rather have the guy saying that my exhaust sounds like kettle corn in the background, or what's that horrid sound? Because those people are putting time from their day to comment on you, and any attention to you is making you grow. It's making you better.
It's good or bad. It's still more eyeballs. And no matter if they hit the dislike or if they hit the like, they're watching. And that's what YouTube wants. More eyeballs on your videos. You grow. You know what I'm saying? That's where you monetize. You have more. That's it. So haters, not haters, it's still attention. It's still more eyeballs on the channel. It's still paying you more money. So
we're going to end this, right? I'll let you do it because this is on your channel. We're going to end this video and then you cool to do some timestamps maybe on like some of like, you know how we had these A, B, C, Ds, timestamp this.
Yeah. We'll go through all the timestamps.
I'll let you take it away. And then from there, we'll do my video.
Basically, we're going to wrap up part 1, which this is on my channel on Driven District. And if you want to see part 2, which you 100% do, go over to Nikon's channel. Be sure to subscribe to both mine and his. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.